So it's all for play for still.
I think so. Do you want to bet against us?
Hello, villains, and welcome to For the Love of Paul McGrath podcast. How's everyone doing? We've got Celtic in the Champions League. A kind of a winner takes all, but a winner takes all in a lot of ways, whereby a Villa win. And we've got a very, very good chance of qualifying in the top 8 once more. And once more, I say top 8 of the Champions League. Something that I think we I wouldn't have thought we would have done at the start of our Champions League escapades. But it's within our hands now in a lot of ways. Atalanta play against Barcelona. We better Atalanta's result versus Barcelona, and we go through in the top 8, which is really, really, really good. A lot of the Bailey jokes about turning up late for training, lads. I still stand by it. If your club is going to pay you 100 grand a year, 100 grand a week, and you're turning up late for training, Ross McCormick got the same treatment. I think it's very it's disrespectful, specifically when you're asked the question and then you've got somebody says somebody tries to give you a way out of it with Duran, and then you go with yourself. But anyway, that's beside the point. Leon Bailey, I hope he scores a hat-trick against Celtic on Wednesday, because I think he's too in to start for certain. Paddy has just joined me as well. He's just putting down his microphone. I'm going to give him a minute there just to get his mic in order as he pops it through.
Good evening.
Oh, I don't know. There we go. I think he's coming
Hello.
through. Paddy, very Tony Pulis of you today. Very matching. I only noticed there was a Villa hat. How are you doing?
That's my £1.50 Chris Heck hat that I got the day of the West Ham game. I presume you can hear me.
I don't know if Paddy can hear me or not, or I don't know if I'm frozen on your guys' ends, but I'm going to keep talking. There's Paddy. Now I can see him moving. I couldn't see him moving there at all, Paddy, a moment ago. Can you hear me?
I can hear you loud and clear.
Perfect. Yeah, I could hear. I could hear you when you say good evening, and I couldn't hear you after that. How's life treating you?
What I said to you was that's my £1.50 hat that I bought from Chris Heck the day of the West Ham game.
Yeah. Excellent. How are you feeling about the game on Wednesday? Well, we haven't spoken since after the West Ham game. And I know
somebody's mixing us up, Neil. I told you didn't put the names at the bottom of the screen. Someone would mix us up. You were the man giving out about him being late, and here he is.
I know I was. Yeah. This man gave out to me as well. He's there. He's in there as well. I was just talking about him. Surprise, and I wasn't late. I was here bang on 9:45 as well. But it's okay, Leon. It's fine. As I say, I still hope you score a hat trick at the weekend. I hope you score a hat trick at the weekend as well.
Leon, we don't get paid. You get paid handsomely to be out there. We don't get paid a penny.
Exactly. But look, as I said, just show up in time for training. That's exactly it. But Paddy, how are you feeling about the Celtic game? I suppose basically moving on from the West Ham game. I know. Look, I've been in chat groups and stuff like that. We just haven't had you on the podcast. I know that you were very, very annoyed about the game at the weekend. I think everybody was. It was a missed opportunity again, and we're racking up these missed opportunities, and that's why I was kind of saying that this game on Wednesday is, if we win, if we better Atlanta's result, we're in the top 8. But we've developed a bit of a habit of missing opportunities lately, and I hope that doesn't come back to bite us.
Well, there's a long list of opportunities now of where we could be in a much better position, and we failed to take them. I was bitterly disappointed yesterday with the results. I had to rush off, so I couldn't get on. It was probably a good job you had probably the same voice of Jay over me yesterday. But it was bitterly disappointing. It was a poor performance. We can't continue to play for 15 minutes of games, be that the first 15 minutes or the last 15 minutes. We needed to win yesterday. Nothing more, nothing less. I said it in the team sheet tantrum. It just win ugly. And it would have been a win ugly if we'd have got away with that one at the end. it's a disappointing goal to give away against a poor side. I make no apologies for calling them a poor side. They had loads of injuries. We can't allow the injury to one of our players overshadow the whole team, because they were missing multiples of players. So we should have been better. Mentally, we should have been better. Not pointing the finger at anybody in particular. It's just collectively, I thought we were bang average yesterday, and it's bitterly disappointed. I know I went hard in on the referee on Twitter. I'm not going to do that tonight, because he was not the reason we lost. We didn't win the game, but he just made the game very, very hard to watch, and it was an embarrassing performance again from PGMOL and their merry men. But more embarrassing that we didn't get a win against a very poor West Ham, and they probably won't be that poor again. They'll start to get players back. They'll have Jared Bowen back next week. And we just missed opportunity after opportunity with this first half of games, because I know you could list probably 4 or 5 off the top of your head where, you know, your Ipswiches, your Notts Forest, that we should have just went and got the win, and we didn't. And that's just another one of that list. So because of what happened over the last 4 or 5 days between this and the mediocre performance against, well, pedestrian performance against Monaco, I'm genuinely worried about Wednesday. Now, I shouldn't be, because me and you, more than most in the comments, would probably know enough about Celtic to know that we should probably go and turn them over at home on Wednesday. And probably the worst thing that can happen is to play Celtic when they've nothing to play for, because they'll just go out and enjoy themselves and ping the ball around and just get in your face and be an absolute nuisance. And we're going to find it tough to break them down. And that's and look, this could go either way. If we score early, we could score a bag full, but I just don't see this team scoring a bag full. That's the thing. So again, I find myself thinking we just need to win ugly and worry about the other results afterwards, and just do our own job and look after our own oxygen mask first.
That's exactly it. You know, just there has to be a win on Wednesday. A draw is like, we're still going to be playing Champions League football, regardless of the result. But
yeah,
you know,
but it's the knock-on effects. It's the knock-on effects of playing all those games in February when we don't need to. So that's what we want. We want to be in the next round. It's still worth the same amount of money to be playing in March as to what we won't get for playing in February. So that's not an issue. It's just a question of just getting this sorted.
16 days is a killer.
It is a killer, and we've shown over the last 6 Champions League games that we haven't recovered. So to go and get the job done on Wednesday and start worrying about our Premier League record between now and the middle of March would be phenomenal. But it's probably on the from the outsider looking in, we probably don't deserve to be in that position, because it feels like we're in a false position to be in a touching distance of getting top 8 of the Champions League, and it feels like we're in a false position of getting into the top 5 in the Premier League. It's just been a bizarre season, and if we had been anyway consistent, we would be well into the top 5, because when you look at the games that the points that we threw away, we'd be absolutely flying in the Premier League.
Yeah, and it makes a big difference. It makes a big difference to everyone, to the fan base, to I suppose to signings viewing us in January and so on. And look, I know there's been a lot of rumors about signings, and there's been a lot of names being put forward and so on. And I finally have broadband and power, and probably will have water back tomorrow after the storm. So looking like everything is back to normal now, so I might jump on now, because I've got a good bit to say about One Fight and Disasi, and I don't have the energy to talk about Joe Felix anymore. I think we've spoken about him so many times. I don't think I've got the energy to chat about him again. But obviously, I will do a piece
or Benny McCarthy, as you called him earlier.
Benny McCarthy 2.0. Yeah. No, look, that's not to devalue the player. It's just we've been linked to him for 4 transfer windows in a row now, and there's only so much you can say in him without repeating ourselves again. But yeah, so I mentioned there at the start, Paddy, that you know, it's going to be a strange one on Wednesday. We're going over to it as well. So I leave my house here on this tomorrow, Tuesday. I think I get a bus at think it's 11:30 p.m. I get to Dublin then for about 3. I think it's about 3:15, and then our flight is 5 to 6. So trains, planes, and automobiles to get to Villa Park to see Celtic. But the reason I was saying it's going to be a bit of a strange game is that, like, we're going to go into this. We don't know who's going to be playing at centre half for us. You know, Tyrone Mings, I would be very surprised if he's playing on Wednesday. If he is, absolutely excellent, some lift, brilliant lift. I don't know, will John McGinn start? Maybe he does, maybe he doesn't. It's just it's a game that's coming at the wrong time for us when we've got so much on the line. I still think we're going to win this game. Don't get me wrong. I still think we're going to, but there are points that you need to talk about in this game. And what way we're going to set up and who we're going to, you know, and there's no way we can predict the team because there's a pretty big elephant in the room about the centre half position. Because if you've got Luca Dean in beside Konza again and Ian Matson, I don't know how the rest of the team is going to perform with that back four in front of Emi Martinez. So it's like there's so many known unknowns in this team that's coming up on Wednesday that's going to make this game strange. And Celtic, conversely, have sold their best striker, and they've brought in Jota, who plays on the wing, but they look like they're going to bring in another striker as well. But it looks like it's probably going to be Maeda is out, so it looks like it's going to be Adamida up top for them. Like, it's going to be a weird game if you've got Adamida up top and you've got Luca Dean back there as that left centre half. You know, both teams will have shuffled from a severely depleted deck in that instance there. And I know he scored some goals last year. We're speaking about him from an Irish point of view. He can be very, very hit or miss in front of goal. And then you're going to have a centre half there that doesn't play centre half. So there's just so many things going around with this one, Paddy. Like, am I right in saying that about Adamida, that he's probably going to be the man that's going to start up top, or can you envisage them doing something different?
Honestly, I don't think so. I don't think there's anybody there. Maybe Palma, if they feel like giving him a run, might come into that forward line. I can't see anybody else but Adamida in there. Maybe it will be Palma alongside Adamida who will replace Kyogo and Maeda. So they shouldn't be anything to worry about with what we have, but we do have that gaping hole now at left centre back, and it's up to Unai what he decides to do. Does he throw Sil Swinkels in there? Does he throw Lamar Bogard in there? We've discovered from all of the interviews since that Lamar Bogard's favoured position is at defensive central midfielder. So does he play Boubacar Kamara there, who has played there in the past? Not for us, but for previous clubs, he has played at centre half, and I would feel he'd be well capable of it. So that's the elephant in the room. That's the worry. And when you're looking at such a huge position of centre back, not having them, it is a worry going into, you know, the last 3 days or so of the Champions League. Do we panic buy and get someone in there? Do we wait and see how long it takes Pau Torres to get back there and then have to worry about only having two fit centre halves for the rest of the season? There's a lot of moving parts, but I hope that part moves quickly and we get a replacement in there, because we're going to need someone, maybe a Swiss Army knife that can do both and play either side of the centre halves, and maybe one of the full-back positions, because it is kind of concerning. But I honestly don't think he throws a Sil Swinkels in there. I think we would have seen him in more squads if he was capable of doing it. But we have seen, that wasn't the first time I saw Luca Dean play at centre half. I think it was a pre-season friendly. He ended up playing at centre half, if memory serves me correct. And there's no finger pointing at Luca Dean as somebody who played left back, and as somebody who's not as tall as Luca Dean, let alone not as tall as Tyrone Mings. To come in from left full and play in that position is difficult, but the man did the best he possibly could for us, and you know he's been excellent for us all season, and we missed him on that left hand side when he came out of there. So something different will need to be done, and I'm glad I'm not making that decision, because it's one of those that if it works, he's the best in the world, and if it doesn't, then for the next few months we're going, why did you sell Diego Carlos, even though we all wanted rid of him anyway? So he can't win no matter what happens. So regardless of whether he brings in that emergency Disasi, is that how you pronounce it?
Sassy, yeah.
Sassy. Or as Bear in the Garden correctly says, Finkles didn't play for the under-21s tonight. You'd have to think that he's at least going to be a reserve tomorrow night if he doesn't have an injury. And yeah, it's a tough one. I think the rest of the team will probably nearly pick itself. If I was to pick the team just on experience, just on a level-headedness, I would definitely play Boubacar Kamara at centre back, and we have other players that can come in and do that defensive central midfielder role for him. It's not a long-term fix because we need him in that role, but I think as a short-term fix for Wednesday night, I think that would be the way I'd go. But that's just me. I don't pick the team on a Wednesday, and for once we've got what feels like for months we've had nothing to talk about in a preview. This is a huge thing to have to talk about, because we've just been so lucky that every time someone's gone down, we've had someone to step into that position. Now we've got two positions there where we've only got 2 fit players in those positions, and it is worrying.
Yeah, I don't rule out anything tomorrow. I don't rule out Finkle starting. I don't rule out a back three tomorrow. I know all these are madness, and the Dunai doesn't. But like, what's the best way to hide one centre half that you're not sure of is play 2 in alongside Ezri Konsa.
Yeah,
have more people covering. I'm being facetious when I said I don't think he's going to play Lamar Bogart and Sil Finkles either side of Ezri Konsa. I don't think that. I think there's as much chance of Tyrone Mings being fit to play. We looking at any of the online physio accounts that look at it on TV and see what the crack is without obviously having any other knowledge than that. Some of them said that he potentially could be available for Wednesday if it was only like a contusion, if it was only like a bone bruise or something like that. He could be out there again. But so who knows? But I think very much what we will see is Boubacar Kamara will be stepping into that into making a back three even when we're in possession. I think definitely when we're out of possession, I think we will see him moving back there an awful lot more, and I think that brings John McGinn into the team somewhere. Maybe Leon Bailey doesn't start on the right wing. Maybe McGinn starts outside there instead. Maybe JJ doesn't start. Maybe Jacob Ramsey doesn't start. I'd find that a bit strange, given that he scored at the weekend and he looks to be coming back to full fitness. But then again, as you said, maybe he plays Boubacar Kamara at that centre half position. John McGinn slots in there and plays beside Yuri Tielemans, and then you've got JJ, you've got Morgan Rogers and Leon Bailey, and behind an Ollie Watkins or John Durant. Like, there's so much more to talk about that normally we'd be here for 18 minutes talking about, should we start Durant or should we start Watkins? I'm at this stage whereby that's okay. That's going to look after itself at some stage in this game. I'm more worried there's more pressing and more pertinent issue at the back for me. And the team is going to need I saw that game as well. Yeah. The Blackpool game, as well, yeah, and Jordan Rhodes is as old as myself, but there is that thing there. Jordan Rhodes must be touching 40 if he's not over it, I think, at this stage. But that's really what's going to be interesting. And I don't know, are we going to be able to do a team sheet tantrum tomorrow? Because myself and Paddy, we'll see what way the day is taking us, because we kind of decided that tomorrow was going to be kind of like a game we wanted to go and watch and enjoy and everything like that. And we kind of said no working, if you want to call it working during it. But I think it's just such a big team sheet that we probably will have to jump on somewhere from somewhere in Birmingham to do something, even if it's only 5-10 minutes, because it's worth talking about. It's probably the biggest team sheet of the year so far. So that one will probably have to happen.
We'll endeavor to try and get on, because it'll be time to walk up
Wednesday, Kenneth. Sorry,
enjoy it at that stage, I'd say.
I do mean Wednesday night and not tomorrow night. I'm thinking it's tomorrow because I actually have to start traveling to get to Birmingham tomorrow. So sorry, if I keep on saying tomorrow, it means Wednesday. It means Wednesday. Paddy, can I ask you? I know I said we're not going to really talk about transfers, but I alluded to this. I alluded to it on. I can't remember what podcast it was. I think it might have been on Claret and Blue as well. I just had this funny feeling Buendia was not going to be here at the end of the transfer window. Just had a feeling in my waters, and he's not going to be here. He's on his way to Bayer Leverkusen. Was that a kind of a bolt from the blue, Paddy? I think the club he's going to is a bit of a bolt from the blue, but do you think that Emi Buendia being allowed go get game time is a bolt from the blue?
I don't know whether I've said it on the podcast. I've said it to you a few times. I just don't see where he fits in the system. He wants ball carriers in that position. He's not going to do the job of Diaby or Malin or Rogers or JJ. I just can't see how he fits the current system. So for me, it's not a huge surprise. It's an expected one, but it's another body we won't have. So is there something going to happen? I just don't know what's going to happen the rest of the week. It's getting tight. We're only a few days. Is it Friday it ends? Thursday or Friday?
Pass. I'm going on my stag directly afterwards. I've got other things that I need to be worried about. The transfer window ending. And that's going to be some crack, actually, if we do sign someone on the Friday and I'm 52 points in. That's going to... You think the preview for West Ham was bad? Wait till you see that. You ain't seen nothing yet. Yeah, I think I don't know when it is, Paddy. I think it might be Friday. I'm not sure. I don't know.
Could find myself at the
3rd of February, yes. Actually, I think Ada's right. Yeah, it's the 3rd of February because it's after the after the weekend. Yeah, it's after the weekend matches. Yeah. Monday. So yeah,
that is interesting because that gives us plenty of time over the weekend. So this day next week we'll be sitting here looking at the yellow ticker on Sky Sports News, I'd imagine.
Yeah. Well, yeah, Joe Felix. Probably still being spoken about at 10:59. Are the lights still on at Bodymore? Paddy, I'm going to talk a small bit about Celtic with you. Obviously, two of us being Irish, I know you're more of a Celtic fan than I am. I think that because you're a former Celtic season ticket holder. I'm just a fellow who supports Celtic because Irish people. That's why. But like I spoke on a podcast recently, Eurotales with Liam Scattle. If you guys haven't seen it, you should go. Or I haven't listened to it, go listen to it. Spoke about the tiny little town that I've come from. You guys would have heard this before. The fact that the ties that we have with Celtic, 1920, there was the chaplain at Celtic Football Club, then was the canon, the parish priest in our town. He set up football clubs all around Limerick, and also there's a priest from my small town called Canon Hannon who went to Edinburgh and set up Hibs Football Club. I speak a bit more in detail about it, so I have an affinity with both those clubs, in Scotland. And more recently I seem to be kind of moving more towards Hibs because my local football team at home has a tie with them, and there's lots of dialogue between the Hibs board and our small club at home, so I'm kind of gravitated more towards Hibs. But Paddy, you being a big Celtic fan, talk to me about their two centre halves. And the reason I want to talk to you about them is because both of them coming through Premier League teams, having Premier League experience, and being two big strapping strong men. Like, how do you feel that we're going to fare against them?
You mean they're one trusty centre half and the one not so trusty centre half?
One trusty centre half and the other one, Carter Vickers centre half.
I like Carter Vickers. He's been rock solid in there since he arrived. Trusty hasn't earned my trust. I'm playing a lot on these words. I've been rather worried about him every time I've seen him, but he's played the bulk of the games this season. He's been. I think he only missed about 3 or 4. He's slowly getting better, but is there anything we should be worried about there? I don't think so. Two solid centre fullbacks, well versed at getting forward as well. There'd be more of a worry for me and Alistair Johnson and Greg Taylor. You'd have to presume that's who he'll start with. We'll also have 3 busy bees in midfield. Callum McGregor, probably Bjorn Engels and Rio Hatate, who are literally capable of anything on their day. And then it's who's left up front.
Nicholas
But
Coon.
I think midfield, because it's so attacking, I think our midfield could cause a lot of problems for them in there. And I think the way Brendan Rodgers plays, providing he doesn't throw a curveball in and play some extra players defensively, I think that's where we get at them. And if we get an Ollie Watkins or a Duran running at Carter Vickers or Trusty, I'd be more than happy and to back the players we have to go and get a tune out of them. On the other hand, my old friend Peter Schmeichel's son is playing very well in goal. An awful lot of clean sheets. You know how much I love him, don't you? And it feels a bit weird when I cheer him make a save these days. I definitely won't be cheering him make a save on Wednesday night, but it does feel a bit weird seeing him in there. But good goalkeeper. There's a good backbone of leadership within there with himself, Carter Vickers, and Callum McGregor. It'll be an interesting matchup. But Carter Vickers by far and away the best of the two centre halves, and a lot to worry about within the team. But I still think, even without our first choice centre back, or one of our first choice centre backs, I still think we're going to do it. But that is more me being a little bit arrogant that we should do it than I believe we could do it, because the last two games have taught me that I need to expect the unexpected. And the manager, as we've seen with that pointing at the head and suggesting the mentality isn't great, needs to sort that out, because the mentality isn't great. There's something not right at the moment, and we need to change the mindset of the players to make sure that it is fight from us on Wednesday night to try and get into that top 8 positions. If we go and win the match and don't get the top 8 positions, I will feel a whole lot better that we've done our job and done everything we can to get in there. We can't rely on what everybody's doing around us. So just go and win the match by any means necessary. If we get a few goals, happy days, but it's not going to be easy.
Yeah. I thought you said Bjorn Engels as well, but I'm doubting myself. It's Arnie Engels in midfield. A couple of people are going, Bjorn Engels in midfield? No, Arnie Engels.
I probably did say Bjorn Engels. I've been calling him Bjorn Engels since he signed.
I actually think, the reason I asked you about the two centre halves is that they've been the two centre halves that have played more and more often recently, but I think that he might play Liam Scales in there. I don't know why. I think Scales is a good defender, but he's had a couple of Ricky moments recently, and maybe he does play him in there, but it's like they've the luxury, unlike us, they have the luxury of having centre halves to choose from, unlike us. So we'll be interesting to see what way they set up, and if they go 3 at the back, they could very easily do that as well. Although I would be very surprised with that too. Yeah. We've a former Villa man is going to be on the bench for Celtic. Sinisalo is going to be in there. On the
you
bench.
had me thinking there for a minute. Have I missed something here?
I took you out of your misery. I could see the wheel turning. Jesus. All right.
Yeah. We also can't forget that a loss here, Celtic finish above us. That's how tight it is.
Yeah.
So we can't afford anything else but a win. Because if you look at the teams that could drop out of there, your Atletico Madrid, your AC Milans, and then Bayern Munich, Real Madrid, all of these teams that we could come up against in the next round, I'd rather do it in March than do it in February when we've had a rest. So it becomes even more vital that we get the win and hope that somebody slips up ahead of us, whoever that may be.
The supercomputers more or less said that if we didn't win, oh gosh, I can't remember what way it went. Anyway, the most likely two teams that we would play would be Stuttgart or Sporting Lisbon. So now, obviously, look, there's so many permutations in there that's like it's impossible to know who we would play if we didn't win, because PSG, Man City, they might not even qualify, so there could be one of those teams down there. There are teams battling it out down there. It should be nowhere near down there. So as you said, it will be interesting for sure to see what happens.
Paddy be feeling a bit like I did when we played Hibs. I assure you, Si, There's only one result I want on Wednesday night, and that's 3 points for us. And as a Celtic fan, getting to the next stage was the most important thing. So I'm really not bothered what Celtic do at this stage, as much as it hurts me to say that, and so some of my friends won't be too happy with me. It is obviously 100% I want Villa to win tomorrow. And I've travelled all over Europe with Celtic. I've sat in, and I wanted to say this because there's a lot of dialogue on certain social media channels by people with no faces. I can guarantee you, people, that the only trouble on Wednesday night will be caused by Villa doing something, because Celtic do not come looking for trouble. But if you cause trouble, they will fight back. That has always been the Celtic way. I sat in Anfield when we knocked Liverpool out of the UEFA Cup in 2003. I sat in the home end and stood up, and people were patting me on the back. I cheered the goals, no problem. It wasn't the only time I sat in the home end for European games, because it's so hard to get tickets. But that season, travelling all over Europe, Celtic earned fans of clubs that they never imagined, and tie-ins with clubs that they never imagined would. And they're genuinely football fans that, you know, regardless of whether you agree with some of the things they sing about, I don't myself, but we've just gotta be ourselves. We're not that kind of club that goes looking for a fight either. So relax, enjoy the night. If there's someone around you and you're not comfortable with them being around you, notify the steward.
Talk to
That's
the
all you
stewards,
can do.
Yeah.
Don't take matters into your own hand. Here's me pontificating to the nearly 1,000 people in here. What I say doesn't really matter. People are going to do stupid things anyway. Obviously, there's a handful of like every fan base, there's a handful of Celtic fans that may go looking for trouble, but the vast majority will pull them back in line and stop any trouble that will be getting there. My biggest worry is all the Blues fans who will be turning up in Digbeth on Wednesday night for the big parties that are there. So when I make my way back to the hotel, I'll be covering up my Villa colours, which I'll have on for the evening. So I hope everything goes off without a hitch, because I assure people, whatever you think of Celtic, they're not fighters. They're absolutely not fighters. They're not coming for a row with Villa fans whatsoever. Birmingham, while the history will tell you it had one horrible day in 1974, the city was built and loved by Irish people. To this day, you could walk into any little boozer anywhere in Birmingham and you meet an old boy from some part of Ireland. These are Villa fans, Blues fans, and a lot of them Celtic fans, but they're definitely not fighters. Absolutely not. And hopefully everyone will see that on Wednesday night, and it'll be nothing like the day Rangers came.
Yeah, well, I don't even. I'm going to be really honest. I don't even remember the day that Rangers came. So it's.
I don't think you were even born.
I wasn't even born, no, because I think it was 76. So I saw people referencing it. So I was there like, so you know, it is what it is. But yeah, look, it's. I agree with everything you said there, Paddy. Look, the game is there to be enjoyed tomorrow. You know, it
should be an amazing occasion.
Legia Warsaw was like everybody came away from that Legia Warsaw game last year and was going like, what the hell was going on? Like, what were these clowns at? You know? And I thought that was a really good way for us as a fan base to kind of to deal with that type of situation. And I think tomorrow, on Wednesday, it's going to be another good occasion as opposed to there being trouble. Yeah, good occasion. I think so too. If you see us, don't go poking us either, okay, right? We're only just there for a bit of crack.
Mohammed wants to know if Jota can play. He certainly cannot. You announce your Champions League squad at the start and you can't change it until the group stage ends. The same reason why Malin can't play for us. So we don't need to worry about Jota coming back in there, thank God.
Yeah, absolutely. No, for sure. Yeah, I think that's going to do it, Paddy. One person asked us where we were going to be early on, where we were going to be for most of the day. Do you want to announce it, Paddy? Where are we going to be?
Well, it makes no difference. I think most people will realise at this stage
when you told me
when they listen to the podcast that I will be in the Aston Inn, and I presume you'll be with me from about 2:30, 3 o'clock. So we will be mildly lubricated by the time a team sheet tantrum time would rock around. So that'll be an interesting one if it does go ahead.
Yeah.
But you know, it's one of those occasions that in my lifetime I never believed I would ever see. Obviously, as I've just said, I've seen Celtic play in UEFA Cup and Champions League all over Europe. This is the one fixture that completes football for me, and how ironic that it falls on the 1 year that we get there and they don't play back-to-back fixtures. So
Yeah, exactly.
I didn't completely complete football with this fixture, but damned as hell near did, and can't wait to get there on Wednesday. And if you are around on Wednesday afternoon, come and say hello. Come and have a pint with us, have a chat.
Absolutely, 100%.
And there's a few people. I think Frankie Maguire is coming in to have a drink with us, along with a few others. So you know where we'll be. That's where we'll be, and it won't be that hard to find us. We'll be the two small fellas sitting in the corner giving out to each other.
Absolutely. Paddy, we've got some transfer news. Aston Villa have recalled Yaimar Mosquera from his loan at Real Union, and the plan is for him to remain with the first team. So there we go. No more defensive reinforcements coming. Apparently, he had an absolute sparkler of a game for the Colombian under-20s recently as well. So time for me to dig that out on Wisecout once they get it up there, maybe in about 3 or 4 days' time. Just get a good look at it. But yeah, Cloudy's asking where we're going to be at. Yeah, we're going to be at the Aston Inn most likely. Yeah, in the social there. So
finally, don't throw us out.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, for sure. I'm staying there, so I hope I don't get thrown out. So
Mark obviously watched your podcast on Saturday night. So make sure you get we get suitably fed before
that is true. The last time I'd eaten before that was Thursday at about 6:15. Was last time I'd eaten a proper meal. We were trying to cook stuff for the kids on a wood burning stove in the house because we had power for a short period of time at that stage. But yeah, definitely. That one of those moments that got away from me, put it that way. I think that's the best way to put it. But absolutely, I'll be eating like a king on Wednesday. Well, as much of a king as the Aston Social can feed me. Or the Aston Inn, sorry. The Aston Inn
it's called the Aston Inn. It was formerly the Aston Social. Yeah. So just to avoid any confusion, it's the Aston Inn.
Exactly. Yeah, for sure. Right, Hugh. I think we're going to leave it at that, guys. Thanks a million for everything, for joining us today. There's 1,000 people in here at one stage, which is absolutely superb. And yeah, next time you'll probably see us, we'll be over at Villa Park. So in the meantime, everyone, stay safe, stay healthy, stay up to date with all your transfer news. And if anything drops tomorrow, I'll pop on, and I might even pop on about Disasi just to have a chat about him. But in the meantime, mind yourselves, and all that's left to say is up the Villa.
Up the Villa.